Life in student ministry. Conversation among youth workers.
Hey guys, I'm at the Simple Youth Ministry Conference with Doug Franklin here, and we just went through a seminar about bridging the gap between senior pastor, youth pastor relationships. He wrote a book about it too called The Disconnect, which is really good. I've read most of it. I'll finish it here the next day or two. But what have you seen are kind of like some of the most common things that are separating youth pastors and senior pastors?
The one thing that I have found when I interviewed senior pastors and youth pastors was a different basis for how they thought about each other. It's really interesting. Senior pastors would tell me they valued respect because of the time that they served. They've been 20 years in ministry and they deserved respect. You talk to a youth pastor and they say, I'm going to respect a senior pastor only if they have impact. So there's two different value systems at work. And so oftentimes it starts with not even respecting each other for the work that they're doing. So that's one of the things that I was really surprised by when I first talked to youth pastors and senior pastors about this issue.
When there is that difference in values, one of the questions I asked during our seminar here too is like, how closely aligned do those values need to be?
The thing is that they don't have to line up, they just have to be respected and they have to be known. So you know yourself, you're self-aware, you know a little bit about your core values, and you share that with your senior pastor. Hopefully your senior pastor shares that with you, and then that knowledge is used to nurture and care and encourage one another as you grow in Christ.
One of the things that's interesting about things like respect and trust is that it's something you earn.
Yeah.
It is not just something that they're just going to automatically give you because the title next to your door is youth pastor or senior pastor or any position for that. How can a youth pastor go about earning respect and trust for their values, but at their ministry as a whole and things as well?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think one of the things that I encountered and I was really surprised by was the attitude of a lot of youth workers that I met that it was okay to make fun of your senior pastor or to call it big church. Oh, that's the way they do it in big church. We're different down here. And there was this attitude that it's okay to tell a senior pastor joke, or it's okay us versus them, yeah. And that attitude right there will get you nowhere. I think one of the things is that we think we know how to do it better when we're younger sometimes. And we don't respect the traditions or the history of our church or why it's done a certain way. We don't even try to discover the why. We just think we don't care about that. And so what our attitude then is I think demonstrated to the church that we don't care about the way the church does it. And we're going to do it our own way. I found one youth pastor that told me it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. That is a huge mistake. And so you might get away with that one time, but in next year's budget talks, you're going to get nothing, you know? And so I think one of the things that we have to realize is that as youth workers, we have to work hard. We have to be focused. We have to share stories of transformation that are happening in students' lives. We can't get rolled up in the numbers. We have to get up and change lives. And this is the big one. We got to partner with parents. We got to see parents as the primary faith influencers, and then we need to come alongside those parents and help them as their students grow spiritually.
One of the things that I really liked in this book, it kind of threw me off at first because if you look at it from one side, it's about being from the senior pastor's perspective, and then the other side is written for the youth pastor's perspective, and there's lots of activities and stuff.
One, Tim. Two. I mean, yeah, or two for the price of one.
It was cool, but. You talk a lot about building a good relationship with your senior pastor. Can you talk just briefly about what does a good relationship look like, and what do you mean about building it, and how can youth workers start moving in that direction?
It all starts with communication. And that's we all probably know that. But it's communicating, it's sharing with one another what your intentions are, your mission is. I think it's getting to know each other's core values. I think here's a big one. I think that you need to talk with your senior pastor about money. I think it's a huge issue that no one ever wants to talk about. I talked to so many youth pastors who hadn't gotten a raise in 3 or 4 years and didn't didn't want to talk to the senior pastor about it because they thought church was about sacrificing, but they were going through difficult financial situations. They were jealous too of their senior pastor got so much money to do what he wanted to do, and they didn't get the money to do what they wanted to do, and that jealousy created a lot of problems. I think you talk about money. I think you talk about something I think that is very important, which is shared mission. You're both focused on families. You're both ministering to families. You're doing it a little bit differently, but how can you make sure that you're giving those families the same message? And I think it starts with communication and expectation.
Well, it's definitely a good book, guys. You should go check it out. It's This Way and This Way. And I think, I haven't told anybody this yet, but I think one of the things I'm going to do when I first head into my next position at church, if that's where it's at, I think it's going to be something good for me and the guys to go through just at the very beginning, just to kind of start understanding each other from the very, since we get started. So, good book. Thanks for writing it. And you guys can check it out where?
You can find it at simplyyouthministry.com.
And Amazon, will it be?
It'll be at Amazon starting April 1st.
Okay. So if you're watching this after April 1st, you can go there. Otherwise, simplyyouthministry.com. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching this video from Life in Student Ministry. Find us online at studentministry.org and facebook.com/studentministry.